Okay, guys, welcome everybody. Welcome back to day number 5 of 100 days of code. We are back here on FreeCodeCamp, and today we're gonna start off where we start up where we left off. And I have my nice little coffee here. Tastes like buns. I'm gonna try right now, real quick. Oh man, tastes like cancer in the heart. Tastes like heart pain. So you know what that means, guys? That means that I am not gonna go to sleep. Whoop whoop. So let's get this party started. So the next positioning tool does not actually have position, but sets the float property of the element. Floating elements are removed from the normal flow of the document and pushed to either the left or the right of their containing parent element. It's commonly used with the width property to specify how much horizontal space the float element requires. The given markup would work well as a 2-column layout with the section and a side element next to each other. Give the hashtag left item float of left. Okay, so what does it say that? So pretty much we can just, if we want to move things to the left and to the right, I'm so sorry, we can use the float element and then give a nice attribute float left, and then this one float right. Is that correct? Is that forging correct? Float right. So now it is Gucci. Yes, it is Gucci. Gucci Poochie. Alright, guys, let's go continue. When elements are positioned to overlap, the element coming later in HTML5 markup will be default, appear on the top of the other elements. However, the z-index property can specify the order of how elements are stacked on top of one another. It must be an integer, a whole number, and not a decimal. The higher values for the z-index property of an element move it higher in the stack than those with lower values. Add a z-index property to the element with the class name of first. Okay. And set it to level 2. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to get some more coffee into my system. Alright, so you're telling me that if we give this a z-index, it pretty much is. I mean, honestly, if you really think about it, it's like the X, Y, and Z type of thing in the 3D world. You know how there's an x-axis and a y-axis. There's also a z-axis. The x-axis is like from left to right. The y-axis is from top to bottom, and then the z-axis is like either making it so it's more towards you or away from you. So if we just, what did we just do? So you see how the red box is right behind the blue box? If we give it a value of 2, it's that. If you give it a value of 1, it's on the same, like, thingy, but, like, it's still going to be in front. What if we give 0? Nah, it just sends it more back. It doesn't matter because no matter what, it's still above number 1. And that's why number 1 is the worst, second is the best. Another positioning technique is to center a block element horizontally. One way to do this is to margin value of auto. This method works for images. Images are inline elements by default, but can be changed to block elements when set to the display property to block. Center the div on the page by adding a margin property with the value of auto. So you telling me if we margin this, if we give any div item a margin of auto, it will center it from left to right. Very cool. What if we give this a margin of 1 pixel? Ah, yes, because remember, or let's go 40 pixels, and then 40 pixels. And then we close. No, it doesn't make too much of a difference. But anyways, yes, okay. Auto. So auto centers. Very cool. I will try to think of that more efficiently or more often. Ha 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 ha. Anyways, color theory and its impact on design in a deep topic. Its impact on design is a deep topic, and only the basics are covered in the following challenges on a website. Color can draw attention to content, evoke emotions, or create visual harmony. Using different combinations of colors can really change the look of a website, and a lot of thought. Can you go into picking a color palette that works with your content? I don't really know any good color palettes. The color wheel is a useful tool. How colors relate to each other. It's a color wheel with similar hues and neighbors, and different hues are farther apart. When two colors are opposite each other, of when two colors are opposite each other on the wheel, they are called complementary colors, and they have the characteristic that if they are combined, they can cancel each other out and create a gray color. However, when placed side by side, these colors appear more vibrant and produce a strong visual contrast. For example, some examples of complementary colors with their hex codes are red and cyan, green and magenta, blue and yellow. This is different than the outdated RYB color mode that many of us were taught in school, which are different primary complementary colors. Modern color theory uses additive RGB model like on computer and CMY model like in print. Click here for more information. No. For all color challenges, using colors can provide a powerful way to add visual interest to a page. However, color alone should not be used as the only way to convey important information, because users who are visually impaired may not understand the content. This issue. Wow. Alright, so let's change the background color property of blue and yellow classes to respective colors. Notice how colors look different next to each other. Okay, so you tell me to change the colors of blue color. So the hex value of blue is gonna be 0000 FF blue. And then yellow, I know it's like green, and is it blue? No. It's gonna be green and red. Yellow. I'm so sorry. Alright guys, I'm sorry about that. Just had to do something. Alright, computer monitors and device screens create different colors by combining amounts of red, green, and blue light. This is known as the RGB addictive color model. In modern color theory, red, green, and blue are called primary colors. Mixing two primary colors create the secondary colors, cyan, magenta, and yellow. He saw these colors in complementary color challenges. These second colors happen to the complement to the primary and not used in their creation, but are opposite to the primary colors on the color wheel. For example, magenta is made with red and blue and its complement to green. Tertiary colors are the result of combining a primary color with one of its secondary color neighbors. For example, with the RGB color model, red and yellow make orange. This adds 6 more colors to a simple color wheel for a total of 12. There are various methods of selecting different colors that result in harmonious combinations in design. One of example. I'm so sorry guys, give me one more moment. Alright, never mind, guys. I'm dead, yo. I just want to kill myself. This shit fucking sucks, yo. I'm just fucking dead, yo. Alright, yo. Change the background color property orange sign raspberry classes. Alright, cool. Raspberry FF007F cyan. What kind of color is fucking cyan? 00FFFF and then orange. FF7FF00 FF7FF. Slit my throat. Very cool. The complementary color challenge show the opposite colors. I don't feel so good. Challenge that opposite colors on the color wheel can make each other appear more vibrant when placed side by side. However, the strong visual contrast can be jarring if it is overused on a website and can sometimes make text harder to read. If it's placed on a complementary colored background in practice, one of the colors is usually dominant and the complement is used to bring visual attention to certain content on the page. This page will use a shade of teal as the dominant color and its orange. I can't even read. I don't feel so good. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't want to cut this short. I'm sorry. This page will use a shade of teal. as a dominant color. Orange complement, highlight, change the background of both header and footer. So header is gonna be what? Teal? Alright. Doesn't even work. Maybe if I close it. No. 0987A1. Cool. Now we want this to be our footer as well. Oh, I'm dead. Alright, orange is gonna be this. Sign up buttons. Damn, yo, I don't feel so good. Why is this shit killing me so much, yo? I just want to bang my head so badly. It feels like I got a massive headache. I'm sorry, it's not because of the coffee. Something just happened, so I don't want you guys to think coffee is bad for you. I'm bad for you. Change the background for each based on the class's names. So now we're going to be working with HSL. So let's put already HSL, and then green is going to be 120, 100%, and then 50%. Oh, HSL. This is cyan, so this is gonna be 180 and 100%, and then 50%. Oh, forgot this one. HSL, and this is gonna be 240, 100%, 50%. I don't want to do this anymore. All elements have default background color of transparent. Or the HSL option, CSS also makes adjust the tone of color mixing. Mixing white with the pure hue creates a tint of that color, and adding black will make a shade. Alternatively, a tone is produced by adding gray in both tinting and shading. Recall to the S and the HSL stand for saturation and lightness percent. Change the amount of gray lightness determines black. This is useful when you have a base of hue. You like different variations of it. All elements have a default background color of transparent. Our nav element currently appears to have a cyan background because the element behind the background color is set to cyan, and the background color to nav. Kill me. Change its tone and shade. So we have to change the background color of the nav into a nice HSL of a cyan color, which is, I guess we can just type in cyan, or can we? Cyan with 80% saturation. %, saturation, and then 25% lightness. What's gonna happen? Okay, maybe this doesn't work. This is the cyan color, correct? So it's 180. Cool. Alright, so use the linear gradient for the div element background and set the direction. Applying the color of HTML. I don't know, guys. I really don't feel so good. Applying a color on HTML elements is not limited to one flat hue. CSS provides the ability to use color set transitions, otherwise known as gradients and elements. This is accessed through the background property linear gradient function. Here is the general syntax. Background linear gradient direction color 1 2 3. The first argument specifies the direction from which the color transition starts. It can be started as a degree, where 90 degrees makes a vertical gradient at 45 angle with like a backslash. So linear gradient 90 degrees. Use a linear gradient and give it a background and set the direction to 35 degrees. Change the color from CCC. Okay. So background color is going to be linear gradient, and it's gonna be 90 degrees. Then this is gonna be hashtag CCFFFFF, and then hashtag FFCCCC, right? And now what? It's not showing me anything. Why is my life such a lie? Why is this so annoying? CC. What, do I need to delete one of these? Or do I just do background? Oh, I have to do it as background. Linear gradient. What? CC. Did I not do this correct, guys? Like, seriously, what is going on? This is the specified colors, is it not? Oh. 35. Right? Oh. I'm dead. The repeating linear gradient function is very similar linear gradient, with a major difference that it repeats specified gradient patterns. Repeating linear gradient accepts a variety of values, but for simplicity, you'll work with an angle value and color stop value in this challenge. The angle values, the direction of gradient color stops, are like width values that mark where a transition takes place, and are given with a percentage or a number of pixels. In the example demonstration in the code editor, the gradient starts with the color yellow at 0 pixels, which blends into the second color blue at 40 pixels away from the start. Since the next color stop is also at 40 pixels, the gradient immediately changes to the third color green, which itself blends into the fourth color value red. I know how this works. Yeah, very cool. If every two color stop values are the same color. Okay, cool. Make the stripes by changing the repeating linear gradient into a 45 degrees. So repeating linear gradient to 45 degrees. And then you want it to be black and yellow. So it's gonna start off black. The first two colors is yellow, yellow. Yellow, yellow. And then black and black. Yes. Wow. Alright, once you have texture and interest, one way to add texture and interest to a background and have it stand out more is to add subtitle pattern. This key is balanced, as you don't want the background to stand out too much and take away from the foreground. The background property supports the URL function. In order to link to an image of the chosen texture or pattern, the link address is wrapped in quotes inside the parentheses. Using the URL of this right here, set the background of the whole page to a body selector. So background URL cool, awesome. To change the scale of an element, CSS has transform property with the scale function that allows the code to double the size of all paragraph elements on the page. So this is a div with an ID of ball and a class of ball. So ball 1 is left 20%, left 65. Okay, and then the ball itself, this is the ball itself. Now we want to make ball 2 transform one, or scale 1.5 from its original size. Okay, I guess is yes. Cool. Now the transform property has a variety of functions that let you scale, move, rotate, skew your element when used with Placido class, such as hover, that specify a certain state of element. The transform property can easily add interactivity to other elements. Here is an example to scale the paragraph element to 2.1 times their original size when a user hovers over them. Okay, so add a CSS rule for the hover, state of the div property. So what do you want me to freaking do? You want me to create a div? So create a div element with the state of hover, which gives a nice transform, scale it to, what is it, 1.1. So every time I hover over it, it gets bigger. And the next function of transform property is skew(x), which skews the selected elements along the horizontal axis. The following code skews the paragraph element by 32 degrees along the x-axis. Skew the element with the ID of bottom by 24 degrees along the x-axis by using transform property. The element with the ID bottom should be skewed by 24 degrees along its x-axis. So transform skew x, and then it wants us to be 24 degrees. No, we want to skew the element on the top 10 degrees along the y. By manipulating different selectors and properties, you can make interesting shape One of the easier ones to try is a crescent moon shape. For this challenge, you need to work with the box shadow property and set the shadow of an element along the border radius property to control the roundness of the element's corners. You will create a round, transparent object with a crisp shadow that is slightly offset to the side. The shadow is actually going to be a moon shape you will see. In order to create a round object, the border radius property should be set to a value of 50%. You may recall from an earlier challenge that the box shadow property takes values of offset x, offset y, blur radius, spread radius, and color value order. The blur radius and spread radius values are optional. I don't understand. So manipulate the square element and editor. First change the background color to transparent. What? Do I just write transparent? Then set the border radius property to 50%. Now finally change the box shadow property offset. So for the first one, it's going to be 25 pixels, 10 pixels. Blur radius is going to be 0. Spread is going to be 0. And then the color is going to be blue. Cool. One of the most popular shapes in the world is the heart shape, and this is a challenge. You'll create one using the pure CSS, but first you need to understand the before and after pseudo elements. These pseudo elements are used to add something before and after the selected elements. In the following example, before pseudo element is used to add a rectangle to an element with the class of heart. For the before and after pseudo elements to function properly, they must have defined content property. So we gotta do dot heart dot semicolon before. Excuse me. This property usually adds things like a photo or text element when the before and after pseudo are used to make shapes. The content property is used to require but is set to an empty string in the above example. The element with the class of heart has a dot before pseudo element that produces a yellow rectangle with a height and width of 50 and 70 pixels respectively. This rectangle has round corners due to 25% border radius and is positioned absolutely at 5 pixels from the left and 50 pixels from the top of the element. Transform the element on the screen to a heart in the heart after select or change the background color to pink, border radius to 50. So we want to change this to pink. So this is what? Pretty much creating a whole new shape, or adding in a shape, a similar type of shape, but we are able to add different features or something like that. In the comments, can someone clarify what this shiznit is for me? Next, target the class heart and make the transformation property. Use rotate 45 degrees. Rotate, and it's going to be negative 45 degrees, and then the before into an empty string. Alright, to animate an element, what you need to know about the animation properties is the keyframes rule. The animation property control how the animation should behave, and the keyframe rule controls what happens during that animation. There are 8 animation properties in total. These challenge this challenge will keep it simple and cover the two most important ones first. Animation name sets the name of the animation, which is later used by a keyframe to tell CSS which rules go which rule goes with which animation. Animation duration sets the length of the time for the animation. At keyframes is how to specify exactly what happens within the animation over the duration. This is done by giving CSS kill me with percentage slit my throat from 0% to 100. If you compare the movie, the CSS property for 0, how elements display slit my throat, this CSS property for 100% is how elements appear at the end. Right before you kill me, the credits roll, then the CSS is applied magic transformation. So how we do this is we get the ID, we create an animation name, we give it a duration, then we use keyframes to access that animation name, and then within the 0 to 100, we tell it what we want to do. So for instance, let's create an animation with the idea of rectangle. So what we're gonna do is give it a nice animation name of rainbow, very cool. Then we're gonna set that animation duration of 4 seconds, right, or 4 seconds. And then we're gonna give it a keyframe, or we're gonna access its keyframe. So keyframe Alright, so sorry about that. I honestly don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. No more. What is love? You guys know that song? Yeah. It's a funny song. Anyways, so with the rainbow keyframe, what we want to do is just add the background color and give it a nice blue, or what is it? blue, and then 50%. It's gonna be background. Alright, guys, I'm sorry. I'm kind of back again, maybe. So, back to what I was talking about. We're going on keyframes, and as you guys can see, we started doing the little thing. Very cool, right? So now, let's go background color, and then it's going to be green at 50%. And as you guys can see, it's actually really cool, to be honest with you. And I'm sorry if there's any background noise. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. Alright. And then after that, it's going to be background color again. And it's going to be yellow. Alright. So now, animation duration. What did I spell something? 4 seconds. Alright, so now here's an example. Note that the MS stands for milliseconds. Kill me, slit my throat, please, 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 please. Use CSS to change the background color to the button element so it becomes. So now we want to change the background color of the button, but not right now. So we want to use the animation name, so we're going to do that at keyframes, and the animation name is called background color, and we're going to make it so at 100%. It's going to make the color of the background color of the button this color right here. Cool. So now what happens? It hovers a little bit. It does a nice little animation. Cool. So set the animation fill mode property. Alright, I don't know. That's a great, but it doesn't work right yet. Notice how the animation resets 15 milliseconds has passed, causing the button to revert back to the original color. You want the button to stay highlighted. This can be done by the animation fill mode property towards forward. I mean, this can be setting animation fill mode property. I want to kill myself. Fill mode specifies. Okay, so right here. So now if we want, I don't know, just animation fill mode forwards. Now what's gonna happen? Set the animation fill mode of button hover so it stays highlighted when the user hovers over it. When elements specify positions such as fixed or relative, CSS properties right, left, top, and bottom can be animated rule to create movement. As shown in the example below, you can push the items downward, the example, then upwards by setting the top property of the 50% keyframe to 50 pixels, but having the set 0 pixels. Add a horizontal motion to div animation using left offset property to the keyframe rule. So rainbow starts at 0 pixels at 0%, move 25 at 55. Okay, so add a horizontal motion to the div animation using left offset property to the keyframe. So at 0, we want it to move left move it left 0%, move it left 25 pixels, and 100 -25. Oh, left -25 pixels. Cool. So you guys can see how it moves left 0, moves 2550. So at 0 it moves 0 to the left, then at 50% it moves to the thing 25, and then oh. For this challenge, you change the opacity in the display animation, target the element with the ID ball, and add the opacity property set to 0.1 at 50% so the element fades as it moves to the right. So we want to give a nice opacity of 50% or 50%. How does it work? Or is that it? Okay, so target the elements with the ID of ball and add the opacity property set to 0.1 at 50%. So opacity is going to be 0.1. My bad, guys. Cool. So the previous challenge covers how to use some animation properties. Another animation is the animation irritation count, which allows you to control how many times the item would loop through. Here's an example: animation irritation count 3, and then you can change it to infinite. So instead of having 3, we can put it to infinite and infinity. Cool. Here's an example, or keep the heart beating by adding the animation irritation count. So this is gonna be for the heart, and it says animation iteration count infinity, right? Alright, and the heart class before and after selections do not need any animation properties. So I don't really think there is any animation properties. Animation irritation. This one will have infinite as well. Don't know what is so cool about that. So to illustrate animation, there are varieties of animation similar rates so far has been achieved by applying animate property. To illustrate, the animation on the right consists of two stars that each decreased in size opacity at 25% mark in the keyframe rules, which creates the twinkle animation. You can change the keyframe rules for one of the elements so the stars twinkle at different rates. Alter the animation rate for the elements with the class name of star1 by changing a keyframe rule by 50%. Okay, so by star1 we can add the keyframe. So animation name is twinkle, and what is it asking? Alter the animation rate by changing the keyframes rule to 50%. So twinkle. So for star1, the animation name is twinkle1. Keyframe start at twinkle1, 50%. Cool. Set the animation duration of the elements with the classes of star1, star2, and star3 to 1 second, 9 second. Okay. In the previous challenge, you changed the animation rates for two similarly animated elements. By altering their keyframe rules, you can achieve the same goal by manipulating the animation duration. So for the stars, animation duration, twinkle. Alright, so they all have the animation name of twinkle, but we want to add different keyframes for each different star, correct? So where is this? For star1, star2. So animation duration, so this is gonna be 1 second, 0.9, or that's star3. So 1.1, and then this is gonna be 0.9. And twinkle, it has all of these things. Cool. Okay, so there are a number of predefined keyword or CSS animation. The animation timing function property controls how quickly the animated element changes over the duration of animation. If the animation is a car moving from point A to point B, given your animation duration, the animation time function says how the car accelerates and decelerates over the course of drive. There are a number of predefined keywords available for the popular option. For example, default value is ease, which starts slow, speeds up in the middle, and then slow downs again in the end. Other options include ease in and ease out, which is linear. Ease out is quickly the beginning of slowing down. Ease in is which slow beginning. For the elements with the ID of ball 1 and ball 2, add animation timing function property. So ball 1 has linear, ball 2 has ease out. So animation, what is it? Animation timing function, and this is gonna be ball 1 is going to be linear, and then animation rotation, animation timing is gonna be ease out. Cool. And then the last challenge introduces the animation timing function property keywords that change the speed of animation over the duration. CSS offers an option other than keywords that provide even finer controls over how the animation plays out through the use of Bezier curves. In CSS animation, Bezier curves are used with the cubic Bezier function. The shape of the curve represents how the animation plays out. The curve lives on 1x1 coordinate system, the x-axis and the coordinate system of the duration of the animation, and the y-axis change the animation. The cubic Bezier function consists of 4 main points that sit on this 1x1 grid. PO1 Animation timing functions. In the example above, x, y values equivalent for each point x1, kill me, slit my throat, watch me bleed, I wanna die. For elements with the ID ball 1, change the value of the animated timing function property to linear and the cubic Bezier. So ball 1 timing function is already linear. Ball 2 is gonna be cubic Bezier. Linear equivalent, or what's the value of animation property? So what is this? So this shouldn't change. So this is gonna be ease out, and then this is what? Cubic Bezier? Okay, interesting. So to see the effect of Bezier curve in action, animation timing function of the LID red cubic. This makes both element progress similarity. To see the effect, change the animation timing function of the element ID of red to cubic Bezier. So this is gonna be cubic Bezier, and then it's gonna have the 0 or 0.581. Okay, and then change the animation timing function of ID of green to, that's a big number. Alright, cool. Alright guys, so we finally made it to Introduction to Apply Assembly Challenge. Hope to see you guys next time. Sorry about all this pausing and stuff and weird stuff, and sorry about my life. Sorry about everything. I'm gonna see you guys hopefully next time.